Welcome back to Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Season 3 is here and we're excited to dive into the core of communication, relationships, and leadership.
We're your hosts, Bella and Lee, a husband and wife duo with a successful business helping couples and organizations get it together to play a bigger game and elevate their relationships and performance.
We believe in keeping it real, so each week we'll bring you incredible guests, entrepreneurs sharing their authentic experiences, along with episodes featuring just the two of us tackling the tough topics.
So, if you're ready to enhance your connections and sharpen your leadership skills, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Today we're joined by a woman who proves reinvention doesn't have an expiry date. She's a former nurse turned dentist, a mother of 4, and the founder of a beautiful boutique practice here in Kelowna. Recently named the Kelowna Chamber of Commerce Top 40 Over 40 for 2025, she built more than a dental clinic. She's built an experience rooted in compassion, personalization, and heart. After starting over in a new province in her late 40s, she chose growth over comfort, courage over certainty, and she redefining what leadership looks like in a largely corporate, male-dominated industry. Welcome to the show, Suzanne Dagner.
Thank you.
Yes.
What a wonderful introduction.
I was like, wow, yes, go. I love this whole reinvention doesn't have an expiry date.
That's great. I love that too.
So tell us a little bit about that, because starting over in a small town, moving your dental practice, moving out of a career in nursing, that takes courage, that takes grit, that takes
Takes vision too,
yes.
Right? Obviously, you had some type of maybe awakening or something that was just like, I want to do things different.
Yeah. Well, I think, I've always been fairly driven and goal-oriented. Nursing was a great career. The way that happened was kind of in the 90s in Alberta, in Edmonton, where I was born and raised. And so not a lot of nursing jobs. It was during the healthcare cutbacks. So already during that time, I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to pivot, or I want to pivot and shift and do something else, maybe medicine or dentistry. And then dentistry just seemed like the right move. So went into that. I worked in Alberta for 20 years as an associate dentist, so working for other people. So, low risk as far as not having to own the place and run it, all of that, while having 4 kids and raising them. But I think, COVID was where I really, started to have that awakening as far as, okay, what's next for me and for my family. And then just things became pretty obvious. I didn't want to and couldn't keep doing what I was doing in the practice where I was at. So I just thought, you either got to make a bold move or stay where you are. And so, I just thought I either have to go start working for somebody else or just start my own thing. So, and then I think once I kind of had determined that with, the support of my children and my family, because they were huge in saying, no, you got to do this, Mom. I don't think you're going to be complete unless you do this. So then I started thinking, well, where do I open this practice? And then it just became like a real big, epic, bold move because, I just had to really think, do I want to be in, Edmonton for another 20 years maybe, right? No, I do love Edmonton, love the people, love the city, love the hockey team, love so many things about it. But it was the winters. I thought I've done 48 of them. Let's maybe take a pause on that for a bit. And Kelowna just, I think it's always been in my mind from when I was a kid, and we'd be traveling through on family vacations on our way to the island. And I would always think, like, why don't we live here? Right. But I had one of those aha moments, like a few years before making this big decision. Same thing, coming through here on a family vacation with my own kids on a week off where it was going to be a high of 11 degrees every day in the summer on my week off. And I thought, never mind, we're heading to BC, right? Yeah. So we came through here and just had a perfect day with some friends and sitting out and looking at the twinkly lights across the lake. And I thought, I could be a dentist anywhere. Yeah. Like I'm going to do this. So so that's how that all started. And you're right. I think the vision came to be, and then you look for a place to open, and it's one of those things where you find a location and that falls through. Then where we are now is obviously my dream location, and it's great, but you either take half the space or all the space. And, Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a field of dreams kind of thing, right? If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
That's my hope anyways. It's been 3.5 years and it's a real grind and it's a lot of hard work, but I think anything worth doing is hard work. So yeah.
I love that because we're talking about vision last podcast and we can have a vision, but without taking those steps towards that vision, it's just a dream. It lives somewhere and we're always talking about it, but taking those steps, and that's where the transformation, that's where the change happens within ourselves, because it is scary sometimes too.
Terrifying.
I always compare it to standing on the ledge. I don't know if you've ever bungee jumped, but we have, and he jumped right away.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in life, I'm usually the one jumping first.
Yeah.
But we were standing on that board and it took me 10 minutes and the fear took over my whole entire body, but I jumped anyways.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do when we have these dreams, these goals, these aspirations. And like you said, we could have been comfortable. We had good lives in Edmonton. Everything was fine, the community, but there was something more that was needed.
Absolutely.
Kelowna was calling kind of the same way. We moved to Kelowna. We came with the boat. We bought a boat during COVID. It's like, well, in Alberta, maybe we were there like a handful of times because of the weather. We came here for 14 days and 11 of those we were on the boat.
It's perfect.
And then we're like, okay, next year.
And the other days we weren't on the boat is because we chose not to. Not
because,
totally.
The
not because the conditions were not ideal for it. And so on the way home, we're like, why aren't we living here? And I think the most powerful thing was not that we haven't had that question posed to ourselves before. This time we actually answered it.
Yeah.
Right. When we said, why aren't we living here? Then we actually started coming up with some of the reasons why we weren't. And it all really came down to the fact that it was just, we're just allowing ourselves to be comfortable. There's no reason why we can't move here. I mean, there's all these constraints and limitations when you think about all the reasons why you can't. But then when you put your mindset into a place of possibility, then it's like, okay, well, it is possible for us to find clients out here and new work and all these. Will it be hard? Is it uncomfortable? Is it uncertain? Sure.
Yes.
However, and we can do it anyway.
Yeah, we can do it anyways. And that's what I love about, you just pack it up and here we go.
I know. And it's scary. And it's really essentially starting over, right?
Yeah.
So I had been at the practice that I left. I had been there for 14 years and 6 years at another practice before that. So, you build your clientele and you have your patients and, some of them started as little kids. They're going into like university and things. And then you walk away from all of those, people and you start with 0 patients and a bunch of debt and, kids that are trying to get settled into school here. And it was a lot. That first year was really tough. And you question, did I do the right thing? But you just have to, just keep following that dream and keep going. And I think that you're never too old or it's never too late to do it. So I do, like you said, saying that doesn't have an expiry date.
Yeah.
I often think like if I could go back and do it over, would I have like started a practice younger or would I have moved here younger? And the answer is probably not. I think I had to do what I was doing where I was doing it. But I'm so thankful that I'm here now. My kids absolutely love being here and we do have a really great life here. The lifestyle is amazing. I do almost on a daily basis pinch myself that we get to live here. It's just beautiful. And the community's been so welcoming and wonderful, like not just to me, but to the kids and so supportive and the women and men here too, but like just a really great community of people that really encourage and support and lift you up.
Yeah. And that's what you're in the community. And that's what Kelowna really, this community is about, is helping each other. Not a handout, but a hand up. Yeah. Sit at the table. That's what Shannon from Mamas keeps saying. There's always room at the table. And if there's no room, you build your own. So they will come, right?
Yeah. But it's such a great place. I mean, we spend a lot of time in the U.S., but even out east of Canada, it's surprising how many people don't know about the Okanagan.
Keep it a secret.
And we just tell people, they're like, oh, it must be really, really cold right now. In the wintertime, it's like, no, we have this kind of little microclimate, right? And you just tell them it's like the it's the Canadian Napa Valley. It's the best way to explain it. And they have no idea. When you made the decision to want to come out this way, how much preparation, how much time did you put into before actually making the move?
Before making the move here, I think it was probably 2 years in the making, 1.5 to 2 years. A lot involved, like making that decision was the big thing. But then, you know, trying to secure a bank loan for a place and all of that, and trying to find a house. And yeah, I think probably from the time I made that decision, it was a solid 2 years before actually opening a practice here. So yeah, then you're kind of leaving your life there and kind of undoing things there. But then, yeah, just literally packing everything up and moving here and opening the doors. Yeah.
And what could you have not have been prepared for? So in 2 years, there's probably a lot of, you're trying to plan, you think about not just what could go right, but sometimes what could go wrong. So you could put mitigation in place. But no matter if it was 2 years or 10 years of preparation, couldn't have prepared you for?
Well, I think that has to do with the running of a business. And I fully underestimated the challenges of actually hiring staff, maintaining a team, all of that. I had like big, bold ideas of, you know, creating this amazing culture, work culture. And I built a beautiful practice with, you know, not just the patient's comfort in mind, but obviously my team, their comfort. And yeah, and I just underestimated how difficult it would be to actually find really great people. Some of them seem great on the surface or on a resume, and then in real life, not so great. So it's taken time to, you know, find that. And yeah, all the planning in the world, you know, and all the smarts in the world can't prep you for that. Even at age 48, when I cracked this thing open, yeah, that's been just a massive learning experience. And just also the time it takes to actually build a new business, right? I was at kind of the height of my career as far as, you know, efficiencies and things in the practices where I was working. I was used to really, you know, cranking through things in a day and then coming and starting a new place and really just waiting for one patient at a time to roll in. So a lot of sitting around and waiting, but also, you know, building other things. So yeah, there's lots you can prepare for, but yeah, a whole lot of things in running a business that you just, only the school of hard knocks can teach you that, right? Yeah.
And would you say it was worth it? Because a lot of people will be like, well, why? Is it really worth it?
Oh, I've questioned that many, many times. I have to be honest. I've questioned, like, what have I done? But no, every day when I walk into that office and I get to see these great people I work with and my wonderful patients who I love, yeah, and it's just, it is definitely worth it, but it's still, it's a work in progress, right? So, just being grateful for the things every day and the small wins every day. But yeah, no, definitely worth it.
Yeah. I do like that because, you know, going back to what Bella was saying, you know, a vision without action is just a great idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like a recovering perfectionist. And so taking time to analyze and pull in as much data as possible before taking action is a huge crutch that I sometimes have. Because I'm trying to like get rid of the possibility of there being mistakes.
Right.
But the reality is that the mistakes is probably where you learn the most, where the most powerful, impactful learnings are. Very long time ago, we had the privilege of being able to see John Maxwell speak live. And one of the things he said was, out of all the leaders that he's interviewed, you know, he's got common questions that he talks about. He's like, now that you're, you know, the CEO of this company, or you've built this multi-million-billion-dollar business, you've got all the cards now laid out in front of you. You know where you made the right decisions, where you made the wrong decisions. Would you go back and now change your decisions so you made no mistakes? And he's like, with the exception of a couple, a huge majority of them said no, because it's the mistakes where they learned. Doing things right, they didn't really learn anything. They just learned that moment and that time that decision worked. But when failures happened is where they learned the most amount of things.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And I think that's true in all aspects of life and everything that we do, relationships, just everything. It's, the failures are where you learn the most and you transform the most. That's
where you find out what you're actually made of. That's where you kind of put your money where your mouth is. Is that what that's saying? I always like mix match the
Ponglish.
The Ponglish comes out. I'm like, is this the right way to say it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's really, really getting into just that mindset of this is happening for me, not to me.
Right.
Where is the lesson? Where do I pivot? And having that run through will make you a success in life. So speaking of that, so dentistry today is largely corporate and male dominated. Is it not?
Mostly, yes. I think there's more and more women going into it.
Yeah.
And I think in dental schools now, it's probably pretty much equal male to female ratios. But it's always been a largely male dominated industry. And then, of course, in the last probably 10 to 15 years, the corporate roll-ups have been kind of moving in. So that's another challenge too, right? As a female dentist and new to the community, but then also trying to compete with corporate dentistry is a whole other thing too, right? So that's, that's very accurate.
Yeah. So do you feel like you're paving the path forward for other women? Because there's a lot, like you go into practices and yes, there's a lot of male dentists that come in and do what you do. There's a lot of hygienists. Why do you think is that?
I don't know. I think that's just from just a long history of not as many women going into it. But I think you're going to see that changing. Yeah. It's an awesome career for women, well, for anybody. But I just think, I'd like to say I'm paving a path for other women and female dentists. But I think there's a lot of wonderful female dentists already doing what I'm doing. But we need more of them. I just think anybody who's come to see me, and I mean, male dentists are wonderful too, but it's a different vibe and a different feel. And I think the nursing background too, just, a bit more of a nurturing touch. Right. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Tell us more about the corporate challenge. You're saying that you talk about like franchise-based dentistries?
Well, So corporations will come and buy up practices, and then it's just like anything else, right? Where they can have lower pricing on supplies and all those kinds of things. So like right out of the gates, they're saving money and making more money, right? Versus being like a solo dentist in a solo dentist practice, right? But there's lots of good things too. Like there's a lot of autonomy in what I'm doing and without having other people kind of dictating how it's run and what supplies to use and all those kinds of things. Yeah. So I think that's my whole vibe, is just trying to create that just boutique experience.
Yeah. But that's also a great perspective, because again, we talk often sometimes about how I think society has like really romanticized entrepreneurship in a context of start a business, become a millionaire. Yeah. And it shouldn't always just be about the money, because it's not guaranteed. You know, statistics show actually that there's a high likelihood that you're not going to be very wealthy as an entrepreneur. Statistics show that you're probably going to go out of business at some point. So it needs to be something more than just money. And what I'm hearing right now is that freedom isn't just about having an excess of cash. It's being able to make different decisions, go down a different path, use a different product, right? You got a lot more autonomy in your business than if you were an employee.
100%. I think that was probably my major driving force in just saying, you
can't cage that bird.
I know. Exactly. It's so true. I needed that freedom to actually just do dentistry the way I wanted to do it, which includes a lot of, care and compassion and just all those extra touches that when you're an employee working for somebody else, it's just like, well, I can't do it this way. And then it was starting to just get to me after a while. I just thought I got to bust free and do my own thing the way I'm meant to do it. Yeah.
So as a mother of 4 and a business owner, how do you navigate ambition without losing yourself?
That's a great question. I think with the help and support of my kids, I think they are part of my ambition and my vision for everything that I do.
Because we do, like as women, we are nurturing, and your business is all nurture. And it's hard sometimes to put ourselves first. We put the business, we put the kids. Where are you in all of that?
Oh, that's a good question too. Yeah, no, I think I have been guilty of losing myself in my kids and my family a lot. I think this journey of entrepreneurship is helping me find myself and be true to myself. But yeah, it is hard to not lose yourself in all of it every day. I think I do get lost in it, you know. You get wrapped up in your kids and your patients and your team. I think I'm just, trying to have some gratitude every day, have some time to myself every day, which usually comes in the form of hiking, walking my dog, exercise of some sort, but just also just doing the things that you love to do, right? Not quitting the things you love to do.
Yeah.
I love to water ski and compete in different things. And so I just think bringing that back out into the forefront and just trying to keep doing the things that make me me without getting bogged down by all the work and the family and all that kind of stuff too. But just keep being you.
Yeah.
That's hugely important to have those outlets.
Yeah.
Because everyone talks about work-life balance. We like to use the term harmony. Because if we think about balance like an orchestra, if every instrument played at the same time in the exact same balance, same note, same volume, it would just be like noise. Same thing if one instrument played the entire time on a solo, it would kind of be boring. So finding that harmony where sometimes you're just going to be all in work, that's okay. As long as you're able to have those activities that give you that sense of awareness to be, okay, I need to now pull out. I need to go now, be a mom, be a dad, right? Be a husband, be a wife, go do that. And then there's got to be those moments where you have to, okay, I actually just need to do something for me now, right? And it's okay. But society guilts us a lot, especially on the us part, to go and do
especially women. I find we have to be everything. We have to look a certain way. We have to be the best mom. We have to be the best everything. Yeah. And then you crash and burn because you can't be all of it at once all the time.
That's right.
You have to pick and choose. And I found that was like my biggest struggle because I wanted to do it all. And I found myself burnt out on the couch for like a week under the covers. No social events, no people, just me going, okay, something has to give.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be on 24/7, especially women.
It's a lot of pressure. It really is. Yeah. And I think sometimes you do have to kind of not crash and burn, but you do have to experience a little bit of what that burnout feels like to have a reset and a shift in your focus and priorities of what's important. And I always like to think of, on an airplane when they tell you have to put your own oxygen mask on first before you help anybody else around you. And I think of that often for myself too. Like I'm no good to anybody else that I love if I'm a train wreck, So you do have to look after your health and your fitness and all of that and your mindset and your own joy. So that you can be, the best partner, mother, father, whatever, and, coworker as well to the people in your life. So I've definitely taken that on more seriously lately.
It's a bit of an unteachable lesson, unfortunately. Because you can tell people all you want around protecting yourself from burnout and trying to find that harmony in life and everything. And people, you just honestly don't get it until you experience it yourself. And then you go, I now remember all the times people told me
I know,
all
right?
the things around what I should do to prevent this. And now I know why. So what were some of those kind of experiences for you?
Well, I have 4 brothers and a sister. And I think my youngest brother, and he's a family doctor in Edmonton. And he, asked me to go out for coffee with him at the Sugar Bowl in Edmonton one time. And this was years ago. This is probably when I was like 45. And, he tried to have a sit down with me and just say this pace is not sustainable, Suzanne. You are going to burn out. Right. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I got this. Well, he was right, and then, you just have to come to that moment and realize I need to figure this stuff out. And just pull back on this. But the harmony thing you mentioned is perfect. And it's about kind of finding that harmony with all the things that give you joy, purpose, without the burnout.
Yeah. I think we say that there is power in the pause. Because that's when we get clear. Because sometimes we fill our days with just stuff, and we're, your favorite word, we're busy. But
I despise that word.
But busy doing what?
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes the pause is what will give you that clarity and that aha moment of, this is where I need to go. There is power in the pause.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's everybody, but I know I've definitely been conditioned. You've been conditioned to not pause. That pausing, creating space in a day for yourself is laziness. Yeah. You just need to constantly be going. You know, the whole, you'll sleep when you die, you get rested. You just go. Yep. And you realize that is, I mean, Belle's experienced burnout. I've experienced burnout. And the path back is long.
It is.
And hard. It's possible, but it's like, okay, now we're really careful around how, not just where we put our energy, but making sure that we're very consistent with the things that give us that rest and recharge. Yeah. You know, because you need to put the mask on first, as you said. Yeah. You know, the oxygen mask on first, so then you can still show up as the best version of yourself for your family, your clients, your employees, everybody.
Yeah. I love that.
So what's the vision, Suzanne, for 2026? It's the year of the fire.
I love this. I know I've been listening to you talk about this, and I feel it. Like when I was reading and listening to what you were saying about it, and I feel it. Like I feel like last year was definitely the snake, like shedding, right? And I do feel like this is go time. I feel, and I felt it right away at the start of this year. I thought this is the year that, it's just, I feel positive. I feel like a Mustang being set free to just, really bring it home, you know? So I just feel a lot of strength and a lot of power in this year. And I just think there's great things ahead. The vision is, just keep pushing ahead, but we've really turned a corner in the business. A lot of that hard work and the groundwork has been laid, and now we just keep building on what that strong foundation that we've built. And with my kids and my family too, we've done all the heavy lifting so far. Now you just continue to nurture that and watch it grow. But for myself personally, I just feel like this is going to be a big year of growth and momentum and shedding some of the negative things and just really moving into a positive light.
Yeah.
When we think about our goals and our vision for a year, I think it's usually made up of a lot of things. But what would be the one thing that if none of the other things happened this year, but this one thing did happen, you'd look at 2026 and be like, it was a successful year?
The one thing. That's a big question.
It is a big question. And it doesn't have to be, I bought a house, or I made this much, or it could be, I feel free, or I fall in love, or we tend to always focus on the materialistic things. Yeah. But I always want to bring it back, say like, we can want to feel a certain way as well. Yeah. So
it's that for me would be freedom. Freedom is my anthem for the year, is just freedom from many things, right? But I think just freedom to be me and to love the way I was intended to love and be loved back that way, you know?
That's beautiful. Okay, well, on that note, thank you so much for coming in. And I love that you're in the community all the time. We see you everywhere. You support everything. It feels like you're just such a spark in the community, such a light. So tell our listeners where they can find you.
Well, you can find me at Love It Dental on the corner of Water Street and Harvey, 1680 Water Street. Love It Dental, where, I named it Love It because my kids say I say love it about everything, which I do. But also as a philosophy of care, I wanted people to love the dental experience and not hate it like so many people say.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, so yes, you don't have to hate the dentist or the dental experience. You can love it.
Yes, so. Yeah. And I'm proof, and the children are proof that we do love it at Love It Dental because with trauma from Poland with no needles, no nothing, you know?
Yeah.
This was like a very good experience for our whole family, so I highly recommend
Awesome. Thank you.
the practice. So
Appreciate
thank you.
it. Thank
Until
you.
next time.
Till next time.
Thank you both.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to elevate your life and business.
If you found value in our conversation, spread the love. Share this episode with family and friends, and let's grow this supportive community together.
And don't forget to like and follow us so we can reach more amazing people just like you.
Until next time, remember, let's not sugarcoat it. Keep it real, raw, and unfiltered.